Have you ever felt dismissed by a professional? Please leave your comment below. Chapter 7. Navigating the Complexities of Male Friendships. The difference between men and women in friendship, understanding how men and women approach friendships differently and how this affects their ability to form connections. Friendship dynamics between men and women can differ in significant ways, which sometimes makes it harder for men to form deep, meaningful connections. While there are always individual differences, general patterns show that men and women often approach friendships with different expectations, communication styles, and emotional needs. For many men, friendships are often centered around shared activities rather than emotional sharing. The focus is usually on doing things together, sports, hobbies, or casual socializing. This activity-based approach to friendship is often less emotionally charged than women's friendships, which may involve more direct emotional support, conversation, and intimacy. As a result, male friendships can sometimes lack the emotional depth that women's friendships often provide, but this does not make them any less valuable. Men may also be more prone to displaying emotional restraint. In a society that often discourages men from expressing vulnerability, their friendships may not include the level of emotional openness seen in women's relationships. This is not to say that men don't experience deep feelings of connection or emotional support in their friendships, but that these feelings may be expressed more subtly through shared experiences rather than explicit conversations about emotions. This difference can sometimes lead to misunderstandings or frustrations, especially when men try to form friendships with women or when they compare their male friendships to those of women. Men may feel that women's friendships seem easier or more emotionally fulfilling, while women may sometimes feel that men's friendships lack depth or closeness. Understanding these differences is key to navigating male friendships. By recognizing that men's relationships may not always involve intense emotional sharing, but that they still provide support and camaraderie, men can find ways to deepen their own connections and appreciate the value of their male friendships. It's important for men to realize that emotional intimacy can develop in their relationships too, even if it takes a different form than it does in women's friendships. Building emotional intimacy with other men, the importance of emotional vulnerability in male friendships, and how to deepen those bonds. Emotional intimacy is often seen as the hallmark of deep, meaningful friendships, yet for many men, it's also one of the most challenging aspects of building relationships. Men are typically socialized to suppress emotional vulnerability, which can make it difficult for them to express deeper feelings to their friends. However, emotional vulnerability is a key element in deepening male friendships. Sharing personal struggles, fears, or insecurities may feel uncomfortable at first, but it creates a foundation of trust and understanding. When men open up to each other, they create a safe space where both parties can share their true selves without judgment. This openness fosters stronger emotional bonds and can lead to more fulfilling, supportive friendships. One of the barriers to emotional vulnerability is the fear of being perceived as weak or unmanly. Many men fear that expressing their emotions will cause them to lose status in the eyes of their peers. But in reality, expressing vulnerability can strengthen relationships, as it shows courage and authenticity. True friendships are built on trust, and trust is born from emotional openness. By being willing to share personal experiences and feelings, men can create friendships that are more than just surface-level connections. One way to begin building emotional intimacy is by initiating conversations about meaningful topics. While it may be easy to talk about sports or work, delving into more personal territory, such as goals, struggles, or emotional experiences, can foster deeper connections. It's important to start small and allow the friendship to evolve naturally, creating space for vulnerability without forcing it. Gradually, as trust builds, the conversations can grow more profound, leading to emotional intimacy. Another key to building emotional intimacy is listening actively and empathetically. Many men are good at problem solving, but deep friendships often require listening without the need to fix things. Being present for a friend in times of need without trying to offer solutions can be a powerful way to show support. This kind of emotional generosity strengthens the bond between friends and creates a sense of mutual understanding and care. Setting boundaries and expectations. How to navigate expectations in adult friendships to avoid misunderstandings and disappointment. As men navigate their friendships in adulthood, setting boundaries and managing expectations becomes more important than ever. Adult life often comes with added responsibilities such as work, family, and personal commitments that can strain existing friendships or complicate the process of forming new ones. Establishing clear boundaries and understanding each other's expectations can help men maintain healthy, supportive friendships without overburdening themselves. The first step in setting boundaries is recognizing your own needs. Do you need more alone time to recharge? Do you need your friends to be more emotionally available? Are you willing to make the time to meet up regularly, or do you prefer more spontaneous, occasional interactions? Understanding your own limits and preferences is crucial to establishing healthy boundaries that prevent burnout and frustration. Once you understand your own needs, it's important to communicate them to your friends. Honesty about your availability, emotional needs, and the level of commitment you can offer to the friendship helps set realistic expectations. For example, if you know you won't have time to hang out every weekend due to family obligations, letting your friends know in advance can prevent misunderstandings. Likewise, if you are dealing with emotional stress and need a little more space, expressing this to your friends will allow them to support you without feeling neglected. Boundaries also extend to emotional space. Men may sometimes be hesitant to set boundaries when it comes to emotional support, fearing it might come off as unkind or distant. However, it's essential to communicate when you need a break or when you don't have the capacity to provide emotional support. Setting these boundaries allows both parties to respect each other's emotional needs, ensuring the friendship remains balanced and sustainable. Another critical aspect of managing expectations is understanding that adult friendships, like any relationship, require effort and compromise. Both friends need to acknowledge that they may not always be available when the other needs them or that priorities may shift as life circumstances change. It's important to recognize that relationships evolve, and it's okay to adjust expectations as needed. Flexibility, understanding, and communication are essential to maintaining friendships that withstand the pressures of adulthood. Finally, it's important to remember that setting boundaries and expectations doesn't mean you care any less about your friends. In fact, it's often a sign of respect. Respect for both your own well-being and the well-being of your friend. Healthy friendships are built on mutual respect, and clear boundaries help ensure that both parties feel supported, heard, and valued. Moving forward, navigating male friendships as an adult requires self-awareness, emotional openness, and the ability to communicate clearly. By understanding the differences between men's and women's approaches to friendship, embracing vulnerability, and setting healthy boundaries and expectations, men can build deeper, more meaningful relationships. These friendships can provide essential emotional support and a sense of belonging, both of which are critical to mental and emotional well-being. In the next chapter, we will explore the role of mentorship and how seeking guidance from older men or becoming a mentor yourself can strengthen your social network and provide opportunities for personal growth.